Hi everyone, my name is Akorede Adenike. You're welcome to my channel. In this tutorial today, I would like to teach you how to cut and sew this beautiful gather dress with bust and waist dart. It also has Basque effect at the bottom of it, which is the gathers part. This dress is into three parts: the upper part, skirt part, and the down part, which is the gathers part. I'm going to draft the upper part first before the skirt part. Let's get into it. This is the pattern paper I'm making use for the upper part. I'm starting by rolling out my starting point of 1 inch at the top here and connect it. After that, I'm going to divide this paper into two parts, the back part and the front part. And I'm going to connect it straight. Since the dress I'm making today has bust dart, I'm going to measure the length of my front and back part separately, because the front is going to be longer than the back part. I have a video on how to draft it in full. I'm going to drop the link in the box below for you guys to understand. So the length of my front part is 16 inches. That is what I'm marking there, and I'm going to connect it. The length of my back part is 14 inches. I'm going to connect it straight after measuring it out. And make sure you always label your drafting for you not to make silly mistakes. So here is the back part and here is the front part from my shoulder to the waistline. Now from my center front here on the shoulder line, I'm going to measure out my shoulder measurement, half of it, which is 7.5 inches. From there, I'm going to come down by 1 inch for my shoulder slope. And from this point, I'm going to measure out half of my round armhole. So what I have on my shoulder line, I'm going to repeat it here, which is 7.5 inches. So I'm going to connect it straight down. Here is my armhole line. So for me to get my chest line, what I have here in full, I'm going to repeat it on my center front, just like this, which is 9 inches. So I'm going to connect it straight. So this is my chest line now. Having done that, I'm going to mark out 3.5 inches for my neck width. And I'm going to connect slantly to meet my shoulder slope. After that, I'm going to measure out 4 inches downward for my neck depth. So I'm using the cuff side of my roller to connect. So from my shoulder here, I'm marking out my bust point, which is here. And I'm going to connect it straight, just like this. To get my bust and waist dart, I'm going to measure out half of my nipple to nipple measurement on my bust point line and on my waist line. Connect it straight to meet, and on my waistline I'm going to come in on both sides by ½ inch. From here now, from my bust point, I'm coming down by 1 inch. I'm going to connect from here to here and from here to here slantly. On my chest line, I'm inputting 1/4 of my bust there, which is here. And on my waistline, I'm going to input 1/4 of my bust and 1 inch for the dart. I'm connecting it just like this. So from my bust point here, I'm going to come down by 1 inch. And from there, I'm going to come down by 2 inches. You know, the front is longer than the back by 2 inches. So that 2 inches, I'm going to place it here. And from my bust point, from my nipple to nipple measurement here, I'm going to come out by 1 inch. So I'm connecting from here to here slantly and from here to here slantly. So I'm finding the middle of it, which is 1 inch. I'm going to connect it straight like this, slantly. So to create a room for my bust dart, I'm going to measure out 1 inch outward from this middle line, just like this. I'm going to connect it. Now I'm connecting from my bust point, from my chest line, just like this and like this to this last line. So I haven't done that. I'm going to come here on my waistline, come up by ½ inch. You know our side is curvy. To make it a little bit curvy at that place, I'm going to connect it just like this. So I'm cutting out, this is the dart I'm stitching, and I'm cutting out this ½ inch that I measured upward. Now to the back part. I'm going to measure 1 inch from the top here to the down part of it for my zipper allowance, and I'm going to connect it straight. So from this line now on my shoulder line, I'm marking out my neck width, which is 3.5 inches, and half of my shoulder measurement, which is 7.5 inches. From there, I'm coming down by 1 inch for my shoulder slope, and from this point now, I'm coming down by 8 inches, which is half of my round armhole. So what I have here all together, I'm going to repeat it here for me to draw out my chest line. But before that, I'm going to connect my shoulder line straight down just like this. I haven't done that. I'm going to connect my chest line as well, just like this. So from my shoulder line here, I'm coming down by 1 inch for my neck depth for the back part. And I'm going to connect it with the curved side of my roller just like this. After that, I'm going to connect my shoulder slope. And from here now on my chest line, I'm going to measure out half of my nipple to nipple measurement. On my waistline, I'm doing the same thing. And I'm going to connect it straight just like this. On both sides on my waistline, I'm coming in by ½ inch for me to draw out my dart. So from my chest line here, I'm coming down by ½ inch, and I'm going to connect slantly to both points like this. So on my chest line, I'm inputting 1/4 of my bust there, and on my waistline, I'm inputting 1/4 of my waist plus 1 inch for the dart there. So I'm going to connect just like this. So to avoid zip bug folding at the back, I'm going to come in by ½ inch, and I'm going to connect just like this from the top. To create a little curve on our side, here is my dart now. I'm stitching it at the end of the day, and I'm cutting out this place at the end of the day. So to create a little curve on our side, I'm going to measure ½ inch upward just like this, and I'm connecting to the darts. I'm doing so on this part as well, just to create a little curve on both sides. So I'm cutting out here and here. So I'm stitching the dart, I'm cutting out, I'm stitching the dart, I'm cutting out. So I'm done with the drafting. Remain my armhole line. So at the back part here, I'll just place my ruler like this and draw out my armhole line for the back part. As for the front, I'm coming to the midpoint of this line and coming from this point with 3/4 of an inch, which is 0.75. I'm connecting slantly to meet the point from the shoulder slope just like this, and I'm going to finish it up with the curved side of my ruler just like this. Here is my front armhole, and here is my back armhole. I'm done with the drafting. What I'll just do now is to cut it out. Just watch what I'm cutting, you will understand. Follow the shape. Do not make any silly mistakes, please. Remember, I did not add any seam allowances to this drafting. So after cutting, this is what I have, both front and back part. I'm cutting my front on fold, just one piece, and I'm cutting my back in 2 pieces. Now I'm moving ahead to the skirt part. I'm going to start by ruling out my starting point of 1 inch. So after that, I'm going to divide the paper into 2 for me to draft my front and back. And I'm connecting it straight just like this. So here is the back part and here is the front part. To know the actual length for my skirt part, I'm measuring the back part of my upper part, which is 14 inches in length, and I'm going to place that 14 inches on my waistline for me to get the length of my upper part of the dress, which is 30 inches and is here. You can make your own longer or shorter than that, depends on your choice. So just place that 14 inches and mark 30 inches out, which is the length of my upper part. So I'm connecting it straight. So after that, I'm going to measure out 8 inches for my hip line and connect it across. Just like this, my waistline, my hip line, and the length of the upper part of my dress. So having done that, I'm going to come to the front here. From the center front, I'm measuring out 1/4 of my waist on my waistline plus 1 inch dart. And on my hip, I'm going to measure 1/4 of my hip. Just like this. I'm going to connect from my waistline to the hip line and from my hip line to the down part, just like this. But do not let this place sharp. Just measure 1/2 inch inward before you connect it. So here too, I'm going to measure out 1 inch for my zipper allowance on the back part and connect. From the zipper allowance line, I'm measuring out 1/4 of my waist plus 1 inch for the dart. On my hip line, I'm measuring 1/4 of my hip, and I'm going to connect from my waist to my hip and from my hip to the down part. Just follow the shape. Make sure you measure 1/2 inch inward before you connect to create a little curve there. Do not let it sharp, please, to avoid unnecessary stress. So on my waistline, from the center front, I'm going to measure 1/2 of my nipple to nipple measurement. And from this point now, I'm going to measure 4 inches for the length of my dart. So I'm doing the same thing here. And I'm going to connect it straight like this. On my waistline to create my dart, I'm going to come in by 1/2 inch on both sides and connect just like this. I'm doing the same thing on the back part. Measure out my nipple to nipple measurement, 1/2 of it. Come down by 5 inches for the length of the back part and connect straight. What I have here, I'm repeating it here for me to connect my line just like this. So on both sides on waistline, I'm going to come in by 1/2 inch. I'm going to connect just like this. I haven't done that. I'm coming to the front. Here, from the waistline, I'm measuring 1/2 inch downward and I'm going to connect with the curved side of my ruler just like this for me to create a little curve on the front part. So this is what I have for the front and this is what I have for the back part. I'm going to connect both front and back out like this. Just follow the shape. And here is the back part. Just follow the shape as well. After cutting, this is what I have for the back and for the front part. So I'm cutting 2 pieces for the back part, 1 piece for the front part. So here is what I have for both front and back, upper part and the skirt part of my dress. This is how it's look like. So here I'm going to come in by 1/2 inch for me to avoid zip bug, and I'm going to connect slightly to meet the hip line. So after connecting, I'm going to cut it out just to make it align with the upper part of my back part. I'm cutting this place out now. So after cutting, this is how it's going to be. And this is the front. As you can see now, the sides are equal. So I'm moving on to the fabric now. Here's the fabric I'm using for the dress. It's a kind of silk fabric. I have 3 yards of it here. Now I'm done cutting. As you can see, here is the back part. Here's the upper part of the back part and the down part of the back part. I have 2 pieces of the upper part and 2 pieces of the down part. As you can see, I added 1 inch for side seam and ½ inch for the remaining places, just like this. I've already added zipper allowance to the pattern paper. Here is the front part. I added ½ inch all through here and 1 inch for side seam. And don't forget, my front is 1 piece. As you can see, is on fold, and this one too is on fold. So I'll go ahead and cut facing for my neckline. Now I'm done cutting my facing out. As you can see, this is the back part. It's 2 pieces and the length of it is 4.5 inches. So my front is 1 piece while the length of it is 8.5 inches. So I'll go ahead now and dot my dart out before I remove my paper, just to make it easier for me. And after dotting all the darts, I'm going to remove my paper and show you how to put it together to form the dress we are talking about. I'm done dotting my darts out and I've removed my pattern paper. So I'm going to show you how I'm going to put it together. Here is the front part now. So I'll go ahead and fold my waist dart like this, stitch with ½ inch from the bottom to this place and do the same thing on the second side of it. So I'm going to fold my bust dart as well, just like this. Follow the 3 dots till I reach where it stops. Just watch what I'm doing. Just fold it like this and stitch from here to this place. I'm doing the same thing on the second part of it. So after doing all that, after stitching my dart, I'm going to place my facing on the neckline, let the right side face each other and stitch with ½ inch, just like this. I'm moving ahead to the down part of my front part. Open it up like this and follow the dot. So here is the wrong side of my fabric. I'll just fold it like this and stitch with ½ inch till I reach here. I'm doing the same thing on the second part of it. So I'm moving on to the back part. Here is my back part. So, and this is the down part of my back part. I'm going to hold my dart like this for the down part and stitch from here with ½ inch till I reach here. I'm doing the same thing on the second part of it. Here is the upper part of the down part, of the back part. I'm going to fold it like this and stitch with ½ inch from here to this place. I'm doing the same thing on the second part of it. After that, I'm going to stitch my facing to the neckline, just like this. Let me place it very well. So I'm placing it like this. Let the right sides face each other and stitch with ½ inch on both neckline. So I'm done stitching all that I explained, the dart, the facing. Here's the back part, and this is the facing for the back part. As you can see, I hem the bottom of my facing with ½ inch before I stitch it to the neckline. So here is my front part. I've stitched the dart of the down part. As you can see, here's the right side of it, and this is my upper part for the front part. As you can see, the bust dart and the waist dart. And the facing too, I hemmed the bottom of my facing with ½ inch as well. So I'll go ahead and notch the neckline with ¼ inch, fold it like this and give it a good press. And I'm going to add hemi glue to the front part before I press it. So I'm done pressing. As you can see, here is the back part. Look how neat and beautiful it is. Here is the right side of it. As you can see, very beautiful. This is the down part of the back part. As you can see, I've ironed it and it's looking nice. So on my back neckline, on my back facing, I did not add glue to it, which I'm going to add later. I mean glue. I'm going to add it later. Here's the front part, as you can see. So this is the down part and this is the upper part of it. Look how beautiful it is, both the waist and the bust dart. And look at the facing. I added glue to it to make it beautiful. So I'll go ahead now and place the upper part, the down part on the upper part like this for me to stitch my waist with 1/2 inch. Make sure the dart is aligned with each other and stitch the waist with 1/2 inch, just like this. Here is the back part. So here is the down part of the back part. And this is the upper part of the back part. So I'm going to place the down part on the upper part like this. Let the right side face each other and make sure the dart is aligned before you stitch the waistline with 1/2 inch. I'm doing the same thing on the second part of the back part. Now I'm done stitching. As you can see, here's the back part. Here is the right side of it, and look how neat and beautiful it is, and the dart is aligned, as you can see. So here is my front part, and this is the wrong side of my front part. Here is the bust dart. Make sure your bust dart is facing down while ironing to make it equal at the side here. And this is the the facing for the front part. I used glue to gum it down. So I'll go ahead now and draw out my zipper allowance on the back part, which is 1 inch from the top to the down part of it, and connect. Go ahead and connect it just like this. And after connecting, I'm going to use pin to hold it down. I'm done with the pinning. As you can see, I'm going to open it up like this and place my front on it for me to stitch my shoulder and the side seam. Make sure the right side is facing each other. So I'm going to take my back shoulder, open it up like this, put my front shoulder inside it and fold it just like this and stitch with 1/2 inch like this. So I'm going to do the same thing on the second shoulder. After stitching the shoulder, I'm going to stitch both sides with 1 inch that I added for it, from the armpit to the down part. And make sure the waistline is aligned like this and the bust dart is facing down before stitching, from the armpit to the down part here. I'm doing the same thing on the second part of it. Now I'm done joining the two shoulders. As you can see, here's the front part, and I've joined the side seam as well. So I'm going to remove my pin for me to open it up like this to measure from here to the second side on the down part. So what I have there is 56 inches. So 56 inches is going to be the width of my gathers now. And for me to know the length, I'm going to measure what I have here, which is 30 inches from the shoulder, and deduct it from the full length of my dress. The full length of my dress is 44 inches. If I deduct 30 inches from it, the remaining one will give me 14 inches. And the width is going to be 56 inches times 3 of what I get on the bottom part. So here's the fabric I'm using for the gathers. I have here 3 pieces of it. So the length of this fabric now is 15.5 inches. I'm using half to join it to the upper part, while I'm going to use 1.5 to hem the bottom of it. So here is it. I have 3 pieces. Now I'll go ahead and join the 3 together to form 1 piece. After joining to form 1 piece, I'm going to double fold the bottom of it and hem it. So after hemming the first side, I'm going to run a loose stitch all through the second side. Now I'm done with the gathers. As you can see, I've hemmed the bottom of it from this edge to the second edge, and I've run a loose stitch on the second side of it. So what I'm going to do now is to take one out of these two threads here and start pulling till I get what I have on my dress, on the bottom of my dress. So I'm going to take one out of the two threads here and start pulling till I get what I have on the bottom of my dress, like I said. Now I'm done with the gathers, as you can see. So I'll go ahead and place it on the bottom of my dress. Let the right side face each other just like this and stitch with 1/2 inch. I'm going to follow the shape just like this and stitch with 1/2 inch from the first edge to the second edge. I'm done stitching my gathers to the down part of my dress. As you can see, it's very nice and beautiful. So I'll go ahead now and turn it to the wrong side for me to stitch my zipper, for me to attach my zipper to it. So I'm going to place it like this and place my zipper on it just like this and measure 2 inches from the bottom of my zipper upward, and I'm going to mark it out. So I'm using pin to hold it to avoid it from shaking while stitching. So having done that, I'm going to start my stitching from here till the down part of it with 1 inch zipper allowance. After that, I'm going to open it up and fix my zipper to it. This is the basic sleeve that I'm going to attach to my dress. I have a video on how to draft it. I'm going to put the link in the box below for you guys to watch. Now this is the right side of both sleeve, and let me use this one to explain how I'm going to stitch it. I'm going to double fold the bottom here with 1.5 inch and stitch. After that, I'm going to fold it like this and stitch the side seam. I'm doing the same thing on the second part of it. So here is my dress. I fixed my zipper. As you can see, it's very nice and beautiful. And this is my 2 sleeves. I'm going to turn them to the right side, place it on my dress to show you how I'm going to go about it. And these are my 2 sleeves. This one is going to be for this side, and this one is going to be for this side. So I will move ahead to my machine now and attach my sleeve. After joining the sleeve to my dress, I would like to beautify the front with this. If you like, you may add. If you like, you may leave it like that. So after that, I'll come and show you the finishing look of it. Here is the finishing look of it, guys. If you find my tutorial helpful, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel to support my channel. If you have any question pertaining to cutting and sewing, you can join me on my Facebook group, Details to Sewing, created by Akorede Adenike. I'm on Twitter and Instagram at Akorede Adenike. Please show some love by liking and following my page on Facebook at Akorede Adenike Sewing Tutorial. Till I see you in my next video, guys. Stay safe, stay blessed. Bye.